The purpose of this brief presentation is to describe how polymerase chain reaction, PCR, is useful in forensic science and to highlight key cases that have relied on PCR technology. The amplifying power of PCR is arguably most important in this context, since often crime scene evidence is scant. Following amplification using PCR, additional analyses can be conducted to reveal a unique genetic fingerprint specific to the perpetrator. The guilty party can be swiftly brought to justice if he or she has a DNA sample already on file with the FBI's Combined DNA Index System, CODIS for short. Otherwise, the sample can be matched to a suspect if they volunteer to submit a DNA sample willingly, or if the police have a warrant for their genetic material. One case was solved when a rape victim contracted genital lice, also known as crabs, from her rapist. How, you ask? PCR, of course. In this case, the gut of the lice contained a small tissue sample from the perpetrator, which they were able to isolate and extract a microscopic amount of genetic material from. Before doing further testing on this sample, it was imperative that many copies be made so that various testing and troubleshooting efforts could be completed without using up or degrading the sample. A second case involves a woman in Canada who vanished without a trace. A few days later, her car was found covered in blood. Unfortunately, every single blood sample obtained from the car belonged to the woman, and there were no clues regarding who the perpetrator may be. However, the police had a hunch that the woman's common-law husband was responsible. The only problem was there was no evidence. Then, they found a jacket and some shoes hidden in the woods, covered in the victim's blood. Still, they were unable to link the clothes to the suspect and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the clothing belonged to him based on their size or type alone. Then, the investigators noticed a small number of white hairs stuck in the clothing, but the suspect himself did not have white hair. When the police went to the suspect's house, they noticed a white cat, and they were able to obtain a blood sample from it. Using PCR to amplify the genetic material from the cat's blood, and additional testing to compare the DNA found in the fur from the crime scene to that of the blood, enabled the forensic team to confirm that the feline's genetic material was found on important crime scene evidence. Thus, they were able to link the suspect to the crime scene via his cat. Again, justice was served using PCR.